Flightz, YAHLAHUE, it's the pilot man. YAHLAHUE is the pilot. Look up in the sky, see me flying. Demons out trying to divide us, y'all. Say my name in vain, I'ma find your dog. In the esoteric, your energy ain't worth something sharing. You ain't teaching shit that's apparent, dog. You just repeat shit like a parrot. Copycat, archangel, your reality. Trust me, it ain't nothing you can tell me, dog. You have to see the boss, and he just like God. The whole universe know that it's flight boss, yeah. Just a little war and the stars go to war. Got 'em curious like George, I just flight. They just twinkle, twinkle, little stars. They're my light, I have to charge, but I'll show you how to make your own solar system. If you wanna fall for a call, just for following a God, and a bunch of spirits want you to go away. Turning into demons on you every day. Y'all still be worshiping Sundae. My imagination fire, bitch, I'm all flames. Wanna talk about the world, bitches always. Need redemption like they got to play the Shawshank. Still riding flights on you in space. Air, flights, 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 flights. Air, YAHLAHUE. Try to take a little piece and let it start teaching the rules. My grandmama always told me never listen to fools. Your spirit get lost in the light, now you trapped in a cage. You still spiritually a child, dog, no matter the age. I created new minds that don't use matter and space. So please don't make it your spot that I have to invade. Taking me back in the day when I was nobody. Yeah, trust and believe, nigga, I ain't have nobody. Yeah, trust and believe, nigga, I ain't have nobody. Yeah, fuck around with a flight, you'll end up nobody. I'm so godly. Yeah, my mission to clear up the lane because these niggas appear to be lame. I'ma just sit in the air for the day. Flight boss. These niggas, they really be lost. I just be killing my enemies hard. All of y'all living the Wizard of Oz, yeah. I don't need 2 blunts or a damn double cup. Cause when I'm sober, nigga, I'm already up the up. That's right. When I get high, nigga, that me, I be getting low. Alright. If you look up in the sky, I can tell you shit you didn't know. Flight boss. Just a little war and the stars go to war. Got 'em curious like George. I just, they just twinkle, twinkle, little stars. They're my light, I have to charge. But I'll show you how to make your own solar system. If you wanna fall for a call, just for following a God, and a bunch of spirits want you to go away. Turning into demons on you every day. Y'all still be worshiping Sundae.
Shaman Magik. Yeah, Southside. The producer meant to give me that beat. Y'all would have had a full course meal song. No, I'm saying, other than that, no, just getting paid to do certain things. Make sure they say certain things in the record because it's a certain amount of group of large mass of people who think like that in the world. The end. Right now, listen, it's the destruction of tradition. Destruction of tradition. Traditional current ways that we're going through right now. It's a little list or whatever like that, but I like to get everybody's mind right, and I like to just talk to y'all like, we just spirits and stuff like that inside of a mind, which is your first body, and then that second body that can receive other people's first bodies and certain spectrums and stuff. We can't completely share our space, but you get hit with that esoteric energy. You get hit with someone's vibe, that flight, that wave. Second, boom, hey, what I'm saying? And we just call it influence and stuff like that. But that's the only form, if you want to call what influence is. Other than that, you can't make nobody do nothing. A person gonna be influenced about something internally and externally that puts shelter for them. They might blur the lines every now and then if 2 individuals or multiple individuals want to rob the bank together. It might seem like people want to do a scam together, whatever the case may be. Let that go about 4, 5, 6 years and stuff. See that they don't start doing that to each other. Then you start to realize, everybody was in it for their goddamn self. You know what I'm saying? Once y'all start to understand spiritual, the world around you and stuff like that, you won't be getting manipulated. You won't be getting your kindness taken for weakness. You won't be taken advantage of. You know what I'm saying? Get your tea steam game up. They steaming no more. I was sipping on it for a minute. You know what I'm saying? The steam game ain't up like it's supposed to no more. You know what I'm saying? But hey, it was there, and it's all is needed. That's all I needed. We in the game right now. You know what I'm saying? Because when it gets into tea, even hot chocolate and stuff like that, but anytime hot, you know what I'm saying? That's why I tell y'all can even drinking some hot water. You know what I'm saying? Not too hot, just a few above room temperature and stuff like that. That'll put you into a situation where your toxins flush out and stuff. Tea release toxins the fastest and stuff. You know what I'm saying? You want to use tea And when you start to do that little internal sweat and stuff, that lets you know stuff is moving. And if you do it all the time, that lets you know your body ain't used to it. Your body ain't used to moving. Your blood flow ain't used to moving around and stuff. Like, you need herbal tea. You need ginger with it and something. You know what I'm saying? You need green tea, or you need something. You know what I'm saying? Some goddamn Himalayan tea, whatever they be calling these things. All that chamomile tea, all dandelion tea, any type of tea, you need it because your blood's stiff. They got spikes from Sonic the Hedgehog video games in it and stuff like that. So you always get spiked. You ain't got to drink no alcohol for you to be spiked. Your blood is up. What they call your blood pressure is up. Your blood system is up. It's, you know what I'm saying? Because you don't be releasing toxins. So your blood be having a hard time traveling through your weak body. That's really all it be. You be thinking it's something else. No, it's your body be having trauma. Blood cells was like a country or something like that. You know, your country is like going through trauma and stuff like that. It'd be almost like dynasty warriors and stuff, where you like take over a land, but you gotta make sure you feed all the people you took. It'd be like that, but your body need those type of nutrients. So it'd be playing out as you having certain cravings, you having different thought forms that'll make you separate from a thought form that bend in and become adrenaline that make you just sit on your all day. You know what I'm saying? And so you have different thoughts. Like, I need to get up. I need to wash my I need to wash my. I said that, as you know, God knocking on your spiritual door a little bit. God knocking on your spiritual door a little bit, like, God, you know, I don't like ugly, and God is next to cleanliness, and I don't like spiritual stench and stink. And I did once it start bending in the physical, you start really realizing I can't just lay around not washing my. You know what I'm saying? I like that little green button on the side of the algorithm. You know what I'm saying? Real stuff. Everything can't be rated R and stuff like that. Some stuff got to be PG or whatever you call it. Do I got those mixed up? You know what I'm saying? Sometimes, every now and then, depending on you own something that ain't yours. You know what I'm saying? That's what a lot of people need to understand too. A lot of y'all be trying to control stuff you can't control. You need to only worry about stuff you can control. If you gonna participate with something you don't control, you don't own, whatever, you need to switch up the way you think in it. Or go ahead and quit. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead and whatever you doing, I'll just go ahead and quit. Ain't nothing you gonna be able to do. Ain't nothing you gonna be able to say. You cry all you want. Baby kids didn't cry. You know what I'm saying? Carl Sagan used to cry. Rest in peace. A lot of people cried, man. There's a lot. We want to get into my people have cried. Oh yeah, we cried. You know, it was enough crying. The whole ocean filled with tears and stuff and blood. But y'all need to know, I'm still over here in these waters. I can tell what waters and stuff like that. Well, at the same time, y'all need to know, your crying ain't gonna do nothing. You know what I'm saying? So y'all like pick better crying. Look, I'm the common sense channel and spiritual channel. You supposed to do that with your relationships. Y'all supposed to know y'all ain't supposed to be picking these quote unquote, we ain't talking about Walt Disney, but as an allegory of we didn't got lost in life and TV and stuff and thought a relationship was supposed to be like Cinderella or something like that, or Dorothy and the 7 Deers or whatever. You know what I'm saying? We thought it was supposed to be like that. Then you start to realize you just went and got an extra job. You went and became an extra employee, and you didn't even remember signing up that application. You remember at the start of it, you were just horny or something. You remember at the start of it, you thought this was what you were supposed to do. The middle and the end of it, it's just the worst time of your life. You know what I'm saying? The worst time of your life. So a lot of times you got to start to realize, oh, okay, this is playing out in relationships now too and stuff. But all of these things is going to play out in sync when I'm getting ready to break down. We ain't 12 minutes in yet. I'm getting ready though. But when I get ready to break down, because it's the end of traditional ways. And I had another point too, but we get ready to get it. You know what I'm saying? It's the end of traditional ways and stuff. And then a lot of people may be in a circumstance where you're trying to uphold something that you think is still a common interest. And then for the most part, you'll be acting these things out. You don't even facing representation for it. Everybody you even thought was looking at it still the normal way. Don't even see it that way. They start expressing more of their own opinion. And you start looking at it like, well, I did this. Here's the key thing. I did this for y'all. You might not even say that externally, but that's what your spirit gonna be screaming. Your spirit gonna be like, man, we did all this for the people who don't even care about this. Oh, we did all this for, nobody even paying attention to that. We did all this for a look that no one cares to have that red pill energy no more. You know what I'm saying? It's deep. It's deep. Be careful what you take a job for. You know what I'm saying? Because that was my point. See, I knew it was gonna come back around. That was my point. Be careful, pick your poison. Pick your frustration. Just like with the relationship, y'all get into all these things the way the relationship's supposed to be. You supposed to know that you gonna witness frustration, period. So it ain't about the relationship and I need to get the picket fence or I need to do it the way Walt Disney and the 7 Deers with Santa coming down the chimney taught me. No, it was about, goddamn it, coming up with your with a circumstance where it ain't attached to these things, because if it ain't attached to these things, then you're able to go through fluidly and come up with an unconventional way of these things, and therefore you ain't upholding something. So when it comes to a full cycle or a full circle, you could be in a spiritual ship. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to be in a whole bunch of things. Now only you the one upholding it. You feel like you're getting the short end of the stick. You know what I'm saying? You need a psychologist or somebody now to question why you was in this type of situation for 10 years. Like, you explaining it like it was a jail or a halfway house. But like when we try to see the reality of it, it's just like, oh, I got married, saying 2012 or so. You know what I'm saying? It was something like that and stuff. You made it sound like it was like Hellraiser movie or something like that. Or, you know what I'm saying? Constantine, and you got to find your old self back out of hell and stop smoking cigarettes or so. You made it sound like that. It had nothing to do with that and stuff. You got to think about the beginning. You know what I'm saying? Think about the beginning. Whole lot of watching Muppet Babies on Ice and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? A whole lot of, you know what I'm saying? A whole lot of watching TV and the Safari channels and stuff like that. So you gotta think, man. So it ain't nobody else's fault that you woke up next to a goddamn koala bear monkey. You know what I'm saying? Or some damn seal that was next to an alligator or shit, and then somebody left the Jumanji cage open and shit. 1952, your parents had sex. Oh, that don't fit on that. 1952. Nobody told how you come here. How you come here? Who left the SeaWorld cage open? You know what I'm saying? Late at night and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? The SeaWorld cage is open. You know what I'm saying? Real stuff. So we got a peep game. What we going on? It's the end of traditions and stuff. So look, check this out. And when I say the end of traditions, that goes for all things that you put in that box. See, the world is broad. So when we talk about God, right, that's all possibilities, right? So it's your point to be one of a kind. So you got to be one of a kind of the essence of these energies before it get duplicated in your subjective individual mind state and then play out in the physical to present to everybody else to see how relatable and sync it is with something that got to do with our eating and sleeping. You know what I'm saying? Energies and things of that nature. Even though I already did some stuff like that, I don't think I did though. So for the most part, if it's relatable with our eat, effing, and sleeping qualities, and it's higher on a percentage scale, being relatable and sync, a person don't need you around to be able to do these things themselves, but they're going to thank you forever because you didn't put them in a spiritual space of having to have that resentment because you showing them something that they were supposed to know, but you're telling them or demanding them. The spirit always get put in a, I'm going to show them that my way is right, because the spirit always attached to, we create our individual circumstance anyway. But it lessens up on a percentage scale when you're in the world amongst others doing the same thing. So we all got to find some way of relating, and then anything that's in totality will be pleased with that more. Not that it had it like an intention, but it would be pleased with that more than someone who just totally going into what they're going to and stuff like that, right? But when we start to talk about old ideologies and old things that we're holding up, the tradition energy itself, right? Before you got it in your subjective mind, this specific tradition, and before you carry it out in the physical, and it's your adrenaline is what people see you as. The tradition energy itself is transforming. So for the most part, yeah, you can have a subjective tradition, but if tradition as an essence, as we're going through this new flame, water, air, and earth process, is getting ready to go through the drying machine and it's getting ready to be constructed as earth. So we already visualizing it and seeing it and reacting to it, the fire. We already emotionally condensing with it and reacting to it and seeing the responses and how it play out in nature, water, and we already talking and communicating and thinking about it, and it's already on our mind. You probably had a bunch of things on your mind already that previously worked that no longer work. You know what I'm saying? So things is getting more solidified so we can know what's right and wrong from the new consistency of the energy. So for the most part, when you're upholding something old and then you're planning it out now and things of that nature, you have to know the essence of these things. So when it comes to tradition is transformed as an essence. So your subjective tradition playing out in the mind that you get ready to physically play out may no longer be useful. And then you may try to fight for it and things of that nature, and then it becomes an unhealthy moral system, right? Because whatever that you're doing doesn't have the same results. You end up being in a situation where you got this moral system of suggesting or justifying, if I do this, this is why good things happen, and when I do this, that's why bad things happen. Then you're going to see other people doing things based upon the world you want to do things in. But for the most part, they're going to be doing things in higher on a percentage scale in a pocket that you deem to be negative. And then you're going to start questioning yourself and your morality and stuff like that. And then that's when you're going to get hit with the funk. AKA, I don't have to explain it, but I'm a person that if you're watching me online, I got the words to decipher what you're actually going through. That's the shift. But it's just a tear down of a thought that you're holding on to, and it's no longer useful into the area of where thoughts could be useful at. And you have an old, outdated thought. And since we all make thoughts, it's going to be thoughts. Is this the thought you're crafting is old and outdated, and we're going through a shift. So you have to shift thought. You know what I'm saying? Even your grandma know everybody don't want to hear about Christianity and stuff like that right now, or Jesus, what Jesus did. You know, stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Knowing damn well she went broke on Christmas, not Jesus. You know, whoever the case may be. A lot of other individuals, Muhammad's, a whole lot of different things of that nature. But y'all have to know these. Back in the day when we talk about words and stuff like that, we're putting words onto emotional states, and emotional states are a collection of thoughts. So that's how you reach the Father, separating from heaviness, or condensing, or a collection of something. That's a different term from feminine. So that goes for nighttime, PM, fall and winter time, or what people call internal, or what people call being in your feelings or your emotions, or in religious terms, being a demon or something like that, or letting Eve bite the fruit, or whatever the case. You know what I'm saying? That's just you being in a collection of thoughts and feelings you couldn't compartmentalize, being within that in direction, and not knowing how to see the linear within something that's non-linear, because the linear just represents your perception, your particle out of the wave, but the wave represents the non-linear, aka things go in cycles. So you know, you have to know what cycle you in to compare and contrast someone else being in another cycle. So you know, for the most part, your cycle is linear compared to someone else's cycle, but y'all both are expressing cycles. So for the most part, everybody's cycles is different. So you can't have one without the other. The stick, the curve, the masculine, the feminine, the yang, the yin, the fire, air, the water, earth. You know what I'm saying? Can't have one without the other. The left, the right, the up, down, and all around. You know what I'm saying? But for the most part, when we just getting into a shift, I'm trying to help y'all understand it. I know I like to say compare, contrast, and get pseudo, you know what I'm saying? Because there's no tangible way what I'm explaining, but these things are apparent. You are experiencing these things. So when we get into philosophy and dealing with the psyche and your senses and things of that nature, that's what I'm more, you know what I'm saying, invested in, to help you understand it, for it to make sense. And you ain't got to get into no mind jogging or exercising and things of that nature, or mental gymnastics about what I'm saying is true or not, or whatever the case may be. Do you see it being daytime? Do you see spring and summer and nighttime? Do you see situations playing out in cycles in your life when it might not be tangible, but you know something came full circle, or you know something is out of sync, or you know something is out of whack? You know what I'm saying? And we just, for lack of better terms, have to utilize this terminology. So, you know, these are things that we have to construct, because if you was better as a man or a woman, you will be around your people or your tribe and still doing the same thing. You know what I'm saying? Coming up with constructive ways of doing things that you know is more broader. And if you want to give terms to these things, you can, because that's originally what things are deriving from. We're building characteristics based upon analyzing character. And each person got something to bring to the table with their persona, their personification. So for the most part, there's synthetic caricatures that can be laid out, and there's pros and cons to everything. There's things that's pre-existing as a caricature that you could update your persona and have a better personification, so you craft out your character. Then there's ill ones and things of that nature that make you just a sick spirit because you're eating from that negative fruit and things of that nature. So you pick negative caricatures, and then you craft out your character, and you become a person with a negative personality, or whatever the case may be, or a mischievous one. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, just generalizing these things and putting it into its proper perspective will allow you to understand. We might use pseudo terms, but we're actually pointing to something that we truly experience every day, and everybody got a chance to be aware of it, because you're dealing with this 24/7. When it comes to your mind is your first body. So when it comes into your physical, that's just based off reaction. So your brain is reacting to your mind, and your mind, you're creating that based upon what spiritual space you in, because your spirit is a space. So when you like to kind of move around, or kind of is really called expansion, you create more awareness, and you're able to decipher more linearness within that indirect that you expanded. So you end up being inside, would you just expand it from the inside out? So that's how internal and external get created from a simultaneous level on a minute quantum stage of light. Rest in peace to quantum. So when we started talking about the destruction of the current tradition, the current traditional way of thinking, right? Except no energies you're not willing to be the main representation of and have your face hanging on a billboard. You see what I'm saying? And we're going to get into what that actually means, because religion don't really got anything to do with this, but the characteristics that come with religion got everything to do with it, like cult-like stuff, gang-like stuff, and things of that nature. So it's like group-like thinking. Now, if it's a group-like thinking that you're not willing to take on your own without that thought, and you could have your own creation, but it's still in that same space, if you're not able to do that, then accept no type of energies that you're not willing to be the main representation of, because you will find yourself in a position where your spirit is not willing to uphold something that you probably don't got a large percentage scale of, probably don't really have a positive outcome based upon your own personal life. And it probably will confuse you, because it's an accumulated energy. So anytime there's multiple energies, it take you into more of the feminine, beyond female. And if you want to look at it religious, right, that'd be like devilish. So it'll have you double-sided, it'll have you indecisive, it'll have you picking and choosing. And before you even get into your own biases, right, whatever you're deciphering with your mind is part of what you calling your God or whatever the case may be. So if you indecisive, it takes multiple things to be indecisive. You got multiple gods, you serve two masters, or whatever the case may be. So, one shows the other the hand, and then you play that on the physical, saying one hand shouldn't show the other. But for a person to be in that space, spiritually, you are manipulating spirit. So you got to wear that energy. Why would you have to think like that in the first place? And that's what's going to be the main consistency of questioning and asking and reasoning and meanings behind all of our actions and how we interact with each other. It ain't going to be necessarily about what we're doing. It's going to be more about what's the reason for you to have to do that in the first place, positive or negative. You know what I'm saying? That goes for all things: business, entertainment, education, religion, and politics. You know what I'm saying? It might not, let's say we go on a war. It might not be about the regular people may not be questioning about the war. They might be questioning who's fighting and for what. You know what I'm saying? Relationships right now. You know what I'm saying? It might not be about, because I'm just attracted to the person. It might be more about why am I dealing with them and for what? You know what I'm saying? In some way, shape, or form. And all these things get ready to get counterpartmentalized. You're going to start looking at that like looking at things like this when it comes to your business. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to the things that you're trying to do, your goals, you're going to really start to counterpartmentalize what does it got to do with anything. And I'm really just explaining, it comes down to personal. You want something you could be the face of. You want something that you could be the main representation of. And you're going to start to see that follow the leader mental concept is no longer useful in this new shift, or everybody going to have to be a strong link. Can't be no situation where it's just something that worked and you could just jump into it and then things work for you. It got to be something that you work and you could create something new. See what I'm saying? Not something you jump in and it's going to work for you. Something you can work, whether it's something that you try to uphold still or update into this new shift. You got to work it though. You know what I'm saying? You got to be the main representation. And if you think it's going to be something that worked for you, whether it's an allegory, narrative, it's going to get shot down by everybody on earth right now, because everybody is in the same position. Their own personal space, whether they know it or not. So even people with cults and things of that nature, religion, you're going to find more denominations happening. You're going to see more cutthroat happening within people that share in the same gang or same cult or same religious cult gang and things of that nature. Same business practices and stuff like that, because they may not know it. So the comfort zone may be blinding them with their distractions higher on a percentage scale, but the spirit is forcing themselves to create a situation that they can carve out something that they can be the main representation of in some way, shape, or form. Because we spiritually at that early stage that we was 300 years ago and stuff like that. So it's important to know what you're going to be remembered by and what you're actually into and involved in and what your culture is and stuff like that, because this is going to be the end all and be all if you coming back or if you going in hell. And this is always the same cycle. It never this never stopped and things of that nature. How long you're going to be in hell if you're an individual that just went there but you got grace, or however the case may be. A lot of people who don't believe they could create new thoughts and feelings And thoughts and feelings is what's bending in and become fleshly fluids. And when you don't got no fleshly fluid, that means your body expired if you already did that. And if you didn't learn in that life that you were supposed to be creating that and you ain't see it in that way, you was just using thoughts and feelings to get your pleasures from your body. But for the most part, your spirit never is on a train of thought and line of reasoning of being able to create the thought that becomes relatable in sync, that condense and become the feeling that ultimately is your first body again, that puts you in that spiritual arena with all other spirits that's trying to find relatable and in sync energies in some way, shape, or form. And that's the only way you can be born again, or you're going to be stuck in your mind that's only familiar to the things it was doing when it bent in and made an organ in a body that's currently, it's expired if you die. So you're going to be in your own world that mimic this world and things of that nature, and you're only going to be able to experience your own stimuli and things of that nature. So that's what it actually means. We all have the ability to be born again though, but you could just experience trying to be born and never actually be within it and things of that nature. That's like you being in your own hell and stuff. You know what I'm saying? You in your own mind. So that's your first body. The physical one has come after. You know what I'm saying? So your spirit is always in a space emanating thoughts and feelings. That's how you make organs. This is why you feel recharged when you go to sleep. Because when you do a lot of stuff with your mind and your body throughout the day, it has to recharge. So when you recharge, the organs rest, and the things that made the organs, you get to be in a spiritual space to make more of those things. So now you're just off in thought and feeling. And then by the hours that go, you got so many of them, it didn't bend in and became fleshly fluids, ran around, regenerated a bunch of stuff at a faster pace, and all the stuff it didn't need, it fleshed into piss and doo-doo. You know what I'm saying? However the case may be. But for the most part, all of that is thought and feelings. All of that is thought and feelings. You know what I'm saying? All that get condensed into thought, and that's why you recharge, and that's why you heal faster when you sleep and stuff like that, because you charging your organs and you're doing the thing that make your organs, so your mind space is recharging too, to be able to do a lot of those things without it actually being a focus on one or the other area when you're awoke. Because one organ might be needing more than the other organ at time, depending on what you're doing. One thought process, you might be using one chakra that made certain organs more than the other ones. You know, if you're in the root, you might be using that, so it bend in and you might get horny faster than if you were supposed to stay focused and you at work and stay on the calculator or something like that and things. So you're supposed to be using this chakra, this mind, if you don't like the word chakra, this mind bubble and stuff like that, to make more adrenaline there, to bend in and make your actions go more into that area and stuff like that as blood flowing adrenaline. But all that's the same, it's the same thing. You see what I'm saying? These things ain't separate. So it's just like night and day. So it's important to even look at what's getting ready to be destroyed when it comes into the traditions of how people looking at religion. You can't have night without day. There's a lot of practices that been developing. Nighttime represents evil, daytime represents positivity in some way, shape, or form. And you know what I'm saying, you wouldn't even have the transition and rocks and melting and molten and life to be able to expand without the concept of spring, summer, fall, winter, daytime, nighttime. That's a mechanism, not for people to separate. These things is a mechanism and a procedure happening, not, oh, this procedure better than this procedure. That's retarded. That's just where dichotomies come from, biases come from. We could come up with intellectual conversations, but here's where a lot of the what they call that, problems come up with that. I forgot what they call that though. Damn, when you have a you ain't saying something right and you have an intellectual conversation about something. I forgot. It's a fallacy. Yeah. This is where a lot of fallacies come from and stuff, because we could be paying attention to things that happen in reality, but based upon the hypothesis or the allegories we create based on what happened in reality, we come up with stupid allegories and stuff like that, and weird dichotomies and stuff like that ain't got nothing to do with nothing. You know what I'm saying? So we'll start thinking a seed got something to do with Yahweh and all this other type of crazy stuff, and then we get far away from thought. We get far away from what we're supposed to be realizing and what we're supposed to be participating in some way, shape, or form. You have the ability like something. So doing something accordingly create better attributes. If your elbow was made to swim then you use your elbow to swim so you don't drown. Not it's something that just created you or whatever the case may be, and you just somewhere lost or whatever. That's how y'all get confused. Y'all get confused with a whole bunch of dumb stuff, where you just got the same ability, and if you do it properly, you could be a person that don't drown. If you don't do it properly, you gonna drown. So replace swimming with thinking. Spirits think themselves into existence. When a spirit think, that's awareness. So, well, let's call it awareness first. When a space, that's a spirit, start to become aware, that's when it becomes a spirit. Because it's aware of the space. It is. So we just call it spirit. But for the most part, spirit is a different term for multiple. What we all got, a space. And then your individual space is solo, so it's a soul. So when you become aware of your own space, that awareness is the first substance. You created something from the inside out. Now you get to decipher it. Now when you decipher it, you're doing that linear and that thing that's not linear that you just create. You created your first bubble. And then for the most part, now you get to have thoughts and ideas once you think. And then once you do that, it do another implosion. It turn into feelings and emotion, fire and water. And then for the most part, then that take you into a situation where you break that down also, and then we get what air and earth is. You know what I'm saying? We get the spreading out of this, and it condensing to become something external. So the spirit creates the mind, so the mind mimics the spirit, and then the mind condenses and become the body, so the body mimics the mind. And then the body need things to sustain it, so the body creates things that we all created as a team to be the external nature to sustain the body. See what I'm saying? So the mind be trying to do things the spirit can't do, be no thing. So it can only be one of a kind to represent no thing like nothing else. Then the body be trying to do things. The body be trying to do things that it can't. That the mind be trying to do that it can't, and things of that nature. So you got a whole bunch of imaginations. But go jump off a roof right now and tell me if you can fly or not. You know what I'm saying? And then the body do the same thing. Y'all got robots now, sex dolls and stuff like that and stuff. But guess what? Yeah, it can't do what the body do. Sleep and recharge. You got to be the one to plug it in. You know what I'm saying? Lord knows they got some robots out there that know how to charge themselves up already, though. They got them Dorothy's out there, though. Y'all can't buy it yet. Y'all don't know about it yet. It starts slowing down. I'm getting sleepy. It's time for me to charge up. They're going, go plug themselves in and stuff. No, I'm telling y'all, they got that. They got that. I seen it. I seen Elon Musk with it. I seen that. They got that. They got that. That exists. You ain't gonna get into the next 25 years. You know what I'm saying? Real stuff. When they got everything sold up, manuscript, written down, planned out, for the sheep can get it and nothing go wrong. You know what I'm saying? And anytime we want to blow it up, when we want to blow it up, we can. You know what I'm saying? Once they get all that right, that might take the 20, 25 years or whatever like that, then you will be able to buy it at a Walmart near you. You know what I'm saying? Real stuff. I'll tell you no lie. I'll tell you no lie. Now, check it out. Also, when it comes into your actions, right? Basing your actions on things you think is commonly accepted, right? In actuality, this takes you away from being being fully yourself. So that's not accepted right now. Even your grandmother know that. So try not to be too much in that energy and feel weird when you want to be yourself, but you think you're about to get some negative reciprocation or something like that. Or have to feel vulnerable because you think people have thoughts on their mind once everybody leave, and you have to overthink of the situation, and you start piggybacking in your mind based upon a reciprocation or the interaction. You start feeling naked because you think they're not seeing it the way how you crafted it before you expressed it. You ain't supposed to be in that energy in the first place. Basing your action on things that's commonly accepted ain't commonly accepted right now. Like everything is turning like in a reverse type of way. Basing your actions on things that's commonly accepted is not commonly accepted right now. It's going to look predictable. It's going to look obvious. Your family, friends, and associates and people around you, if you're a celebrity, even your fans, they might not know how to explain it. It is now on my channel. See, I'm everybody's spiritual next door friend. But based upon everybody's level and comprehension and intelligence, they're going to be doing what I'm saying in their own way. So it might not even be a discussion, it might not be a conversation. People might start doing things that you think is weird around you and stuff like that, but it's truly what I'm talking about. You're doing something and you think you're supposed to get the obvious results from it, and we're not in that world no more. But what you're doing, you don't see it that way because you're probably a fleshly, fluid, physical person, a tangible person. So you're not looking at it as thought forms being a thing. You just look at it like this your way of thinking and it should work. And if it's not working, it has to be something else. And so that's going to take you down a train of thought, a line of reasoning that bend in and become actions of you forcing something and trying to assert it. And God going to start kicking you, hurry, because your spirit become fat, like Fat Albert. And God going to teach you a lesson real quick. You better start being aware of something that you can't always weigh, you can't always put on. You can't always see, you can't always hear, but you experiencing it, ain't you? And put it to the test. This new idea, add it to yours, and then start to let that bend in and be slightly motivating your actions and dictate your actions. And if it show you better results, you better not never have no disbelief of mother again. And that's how God come. That's how God come. God come to a way that God don't even want you to explain nothing to nobody how cold it is. You might be like frustrated to a point where you might be like, oh, I can't wait to tell somebody. No, the way God come, it's like, no, this just for me. And I know it. And I dare somebody tell me not to believe in it. And I ain't got time to explain it either. I just know I got this belief. That's how God come. God come like that. God don't come like nothing else. If God came like anything else, that ain't God. That's somebody serve a scammer God. That's they made that mind state up themselves and trying to sell some records or something like, you know what I'm saying? Try to sell some deodorant candle ornament sticks. You don't know the hand on put it on your refrigerator, hang it on a wall, give it to somebody, spray it on you, put it on as deodorant, or light it on your damn living room table. You don't know which one to do. You know what I'm saying? Real, you just know you was supporting some Hebrew Israelite on your hood. I'm trying to keep them out of jail. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to keep them from selling 10 bricks or something like that. You know what I'm saying? That's all you know. That's where they got the word hard body from. They ain't get the word hard body from God giving them a hard body. A lot of them look fat and sick and stuff. Like they got it from selling hard dope, hard bricks. They was out there, look, I got them hard bodies. Opened up the trunk and told their grandma and everybody on the block that possibly could be snitches that those all candles and stuff. Oh, it's up under the sheet and stuff like that. They got the Hebrew Israelite Power Ranger outfit, a whole bunch of candles, deodorant sticks and stuff. You used to lift that sheet up. This guy's got about 10 bricks. Going straight to Jersey and back to Brooklyn. I was about to eat the Chico steak, YouTube. That was a Chico steak. YouTube. Oh, I'm saying. Real stuff. There's gonna be lying out there. Lying out there. When you became God body, it wasn't in no church. It was after your service of 12 years in prison. Oh, I said that to you. I tell who you lying to, dude. So it has to be lying like a mother. Became a Hebrew Israelite. What you got on child support? I'm putting that. Get your T-Steam game up. Get your T-Steam game up now. Get your T-Steam game up. Don't end up in that drunk death tavern. But also, like I said, basing your actions on things that's commonly accepted ain't gonna be accepted right now. And you probably already been putting it to the test because you probably been scamming, trying to make money off it. Not just Hebrew Israelites, everybody. Y'all probably been scamming, trying to make money off y'all stuff and stuff. Y'all been seeing like things slowing up. You know, so you've been seeing it because you've been trying to do something like, oh, I thought people would like that. Or I thought my grandmama liked that or something. Nah, it's changing. That scam don't work. That grift don't work no more. That greed got to take a break. You know what I'm saying? You might have to take a break on that grift. You know what I'm saying? Take a little break on that grift. Everybody got to take a little break on their grifts. That's why you see Brother Malik, I don't eat no bacon salam up the street. That's why you ain't see his elbow on the goddamn cooler with the beers and the 40 ounces for the past few parties. That's why Cat been hurting. Things changing up. Brotherhood ain't brothering. You know what I'm saying? Brotherhood ain't brothering at the moment. You know what I'm saying? Everybody got their own problem. They all on child support. Now look, check this out, right? Now, also when we get into when it comes to teaching, it has to be more solution based. So based off of a talent or a curriculum. So if you don't have either, you ain't no teacher. You just somebody who talking. You know what I'm saying? That's where it's about to be right now too. Because here's the thing: what is a teacher? A person who went through experiences and learned from life. What did they learn from life? They start to look around, and it was things that they didn't have. Now they didn't go to the resentment train of thought and line of reasoning, and then went to more not having and dumping that responsibility on others. They said, let me be this energy, and now they could be a representation of a whole bunch of people who don't have that energy, and now they got it for others, and now they could get receive the benefits, however the case may be. So what made them come to that conclusion morally, going through that experience of lack, and then also what they have learned, it's always going to be in a place of the world. You could teach people how to make toilet paper, teach people how to put on rims, teach people how to make it. There's always going to be a filtering system you could do it through, that them challenges actually make you come up with anyway, especially when it comes to things that's in arm reach. First thing, you the most creative person in the world when you start lacking. You lack anything, you become the highest goddamn philosopher, Stephen Hawking, and goddamn the Alexandra age of enlightenment type of person in the world. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You got about 50 Thomas Jefferson pants with feathers on them that they done stole from my people in the back for souvenirs and stuff. You get ready to sell on eBay. They can sell $1 million a pop and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Something like that with next to a George Washington quarter or something like that. Real stuff with the eagle on the back. Get your eagle on, get your pelissa. But like I said, the pelissa on the back. You know what I'm saying? A pelisepi. You know what I'm saying? Kukuski pelisepi. But other than that, it's just beautiful waters over Macatella, Minnehoking. You know what I'm saying? The Mahoney Rivers. Oh, sad, beautiful water. Look like a beautiful eagle and stuff like that over the waters. But like I said, though, right? When it comes to teaching, you got to be more solution-based, based off of talent or curriculum. So when you're going through an experience, it developed as a talent, and it developed or a curriculum. So it may not be always talent-based based upon entertainment, but it could be a curriculum based upon everybody don't know how to put on a tire. And it could be, or everybody don't know how to be an electrician or engineering or whatever the case may be. But whatever you went through and what you had access to, it put you in a position of being able to be the representation of what you didn't have. But there's going to be millions of other people in the world that didn't have that. And now what you do have is you're the substantial anchor of that. So it is something now. You made something out of nothing. Something that was nothing. Looked like your life was more than what it was, or you was going through bigger problems that really was small fish or whatever the case may be. You made it happen. You made it happen. So for the most part, now you could teach that curriculum. Now you could teach that talent. You know what I'm saying? So you ain't a basketball player or no football player talking about mom's cooking or something. You know what I'm saying? You ain't somebody who just talking. You someone teaching. You're teaching someone how to throw the football. You're teaching someone the curriculum or whatever the case may be. Or you're teaching the ins and out about it. Because I'm pretty sure there's a million other people that want to do it or whatever the case may be. So now you found a pocket. You can even build a whole encyclopedia if you want to sell it or whatever the case may be, because people know that's how you're teaching a curriculum, or you're goddamn presenting your talent in some type of way. So those are forms of teaching, and those are solution-based, period, because it has no choice to be. This was what you have found to make your life better. So it's already in a solution world. So you ain't got to fake the funk. When you already doing something, you don't got to explain it. You just do it. When you already are something, you don't got to talk about what that thing like is outside of you did or what they did. You're the representation of it now. So for the most part, this lets you know if it's genuine or not. So at the same time, this is how teaching is going to be looked at, right? So if you're someone who's calling yourself a teacher or a scholar, but you're just teaching what scholars wrote, you're not a teacher. You're just talking. You know what I'm saying? But if you are a scholar, you have something to teach, and you can present your curriculum. You see what I'm saying? Other than that, whatever information you got, anybody could go get that book, and anybody could go on Google. And if they didn't, it's probably because their life is steered in a direction where that's not the main interest at the moment. And they got to get it how they live. And it just so happened That's your main interest, but it wouldn't have been your main interest either if it wasn't in your locality, how you could get it, how you live. Everybody got access to different things in their geographical location. That has to be respected. You know what I'm saying? So therefore, morality is more substantiated in today's time, other than anything else, than a person that's trying to make you get on a mind state, and then you're reacting like you're on the mind state, and then job done. That didn't do nothing for your life. And eventually you're going to get into something that disregard that mind state because of your particular life. And that's all that needs to be said anyway. You're not doing nothing wrong, all right? Even if that play out in you separating from a religion or whatever the case may be. You're just going through a shift, and a lot of the things you're starting to realize don't have anything to do with the external world. You use these things as crutches to understand what's going on with you internally, and what's going on with you internally is different right now, and those external things is no longer needed. And your spirit is going to remind you every day, all the way down to our relationships and stuff like that, that makes us feel like we in bondages and stuff like that. We want to be more free and stuff like that, and create a situation where we still can have our own space too. You know what I'm saying? So that a lot of relationships going to be constructed like that too, where it's more on a percentage scale of two, y'all friends first, then something that played out on Walt Disney or what you think you're supposed to do, and then y'all get tired of that, then the energy's drained up, and it's nothing there for the spirits to sustain each other, to go for the long haul in any relationship, nor do any spirit be wanting to do that anyway because of how the relationship is started. You know what I'm saying? Relationships need to start how I broke it down. Therefore, there's always some form of excitement, but then there's always some form of a spirit not feeling weird when they have their own personal space and things of that nature. And therefore, that creates circumstances where everybody is able to make more healthy decisions when it comes to everything they do, because this mental pressure itself will allow you to make a wrong decision about something that you're not looking at as a wrong decision. Is this your actions and your way of thinking is being dictated by the circumstance, and the circumstance go beyond everybody throwing in their piece, their mind state for it to be that way in the first place. Once it become a life of its own, you'll be acting these things out and sometimes be wrong, and then have to realize you're acting these things out from all participants, not that thing itself. You know what I'm saying? And then when you live yourself for others, you're ultimately doing that, period. Whether that thing is serving two masters or you're doing it for others, and then whatever you thought you were doing, you thought it was right because it's in the right graces of the others that you're in sync with. And then for the most part, if what all y'all doing is bull crap anyway, then it ultimately don't even matter. Your spirit been reminding you since day one you was doing some bull crap. You know what I'm saying? So for the most part, it's like everybody looking at things right now like, what did this genuinely help my spirit? You know what I'm saying? That's what, doesn't matter if you're a part of something that's working or not. Everybody's looking at stuff like, does this help my spirit? That goes for your jobs, that goes for your teammates, or whatever the case may be. It might be a lot of people in sports right now trying to switch teams and stuff like that, because just based upon area, location, and start looking back at stuff like, yeah, I remember when I was in high school and college, and me getting this career and stuff, it was a lot of stuff I really didn't want to do. I had to move all my family here, then move all the way here. Like, a lot of these things ought to become more important than what you actually doing in the first place. Because even when it comes into the value of a lot of these things, the things that you are obtaining, you're starting to realize it's not worth it. I'm not just speaking to all celebrities and stuff, but I'm just saying from a general scale. A lot of things that you are obtaining, it's like a be careful what you ask for energy. It's like you thought you wanted these things. You start to see it ain't all up what it meant to be. You know what I'm saying? And nothing wrong with a big old house either. A lot of people got a couple of big old houses. A lot of people about to start questioning these things right now. Like, what's the purpose of this if I only be in this couple rooms or whatever the case may be? So a lot of people about to start downsizing and stuff like that, just for the sake of we're creating a lot of confusion for ourselves based upon thinking we supposed to do it because it was on Walt Disney. And it's like we're upholding something for people that don't even care about what we're upholding. So we're going to start looking at it like, why are we upholding it? And that could be through all of our subjective lives. So y'all all take that information, and a lot of y'all already seeing it this way. But a lot of y'all going to get ready to see it this way, especially going further and further in 2026, especially when it comes to y'all jobs and business, entertainment, education, and religion, and politics. You're going to really start questioning, like, do I want what I'm doing to be a stain on me, even when I'm at a time in my life that ain't got nothing to do with that? Like, this really about to be a challenge for the spirit, where you really never thought about it like that before, but you really about to start questioning, like, those minor frustrations I went through is because of this. It's just anytime we emanate an energy, it accumulates. And these were small emanations, small pockets of our day, small 10 seconds here, small 5 minutes there. Something might happen to make us sit down for a few seconds to recharge. So it may go for an hour or two here. Then now it's accumulating to become whole full weeks and months now in this new shift. And you can't run from it. And you're going to be in the middle of what you previously higher on a percentage scale looking at, well, just this what I do. And that questioning energy was smaller. Now the questioning energy is broader on a percentage scale, and it's going to be harder for you to focus on this is what I'm doing right now. That's going to be smaller on the percentage scale. So be careful if you ain't in too many degenerate stuff, because lying is hard to protect. You know what I'm saying? You may find yourself giving out lies or expressing yourself in a way that you wasn't supposed to, because you know when it ain't always dealing with lies at times, but you know when you upholding something that everybody don't got to know, there's certain actions that come from that mentality that you have for that to remain to be. It may be a certain like a cheater or something like that stopped cheating, but it was a certain time that they was cheating, so they know not to do something at that time or something like that. So for the most part, even though they stopped cheating, it's certain things that they don't do at that time or do at another time, so they can ease their way and like, or keep their partner at a certain mind frame, so it don't seem like something just suddenly changed or whatever. You know what I'm saying? However these things may be. You know what I'm saying? But these things is going to play out in particulars in everybody's life when it comes into questioning, what am I even actually doing? Or whatever the case may be. Do I want this thing I'm upholding to be the representation of me? And if I do, what percentage scale is that validation? I mean, is this something that I can cash to the bank? I mean, it probably is, but I'm talking about like esoterically. Like, is this something that I could go somewhere and it's actually cool? It ain't something that a person may look at it and I got to deal with some stuff that I probably just did for a check, or I just did for a certain circumstance, but there's other portions in my life that ain't got nothing to do with that this is pouring into now, that I don't want to be seen as, and stuff like that. That's going to be the main thing. And the first people who are going to be questioning that a lot too is a lot of these celebrities. I'm saying because a lot of these celebrities have done stuff that they got checks for, and they was able to throw it away in their mind because the old current is fading now, but the shift that we was in, oh, I did it for the money. That sounds cliche, but you know the loops it go through when you really decided to do something like that. You know that it's always a follow the leader type energy in the mental world. Someone created that concept, other people did it to make it work, so it'll seem uncool if you don't think like that, knowing that spiritually that's you throwing some of your morals in the back seat, but the percentage scale of your morals, all of it is not in that area of life to look at it like this is a moral issue. You know what I'm saying? Especially creating a synthetic world and things of that nature based upon the things that we have to do to get a dollar. But at the same time, you're going to start looking at it in that attribute. And then you're going to start looking at it like, I don't know if even what I was accepting, the bragging rights and the brownie points from doing that, I don't even know if that actually fulfilled me. I don't even know if that fulfilled my appetite. I don't even know if I like cookies anymore. I don't even know. That's basically saying I don't even know if I like to be seen like that anymore. You know what I'm saying? So it's that kind of energy that's going on right now, and it's going to be more extreme the higher degeneracy you in, or whatever the case may be, because you know you're going to start realizing it's something that you're here to be as unique, one of a kind, and to be a part of others that's doing the same thing, that whatever you currently doing that's in the old and outdated shift is kind of blocking you from. It's kind of creating limitations from, and stuff like that. And it's probably a lot of people, places, and things you materialize and manifested from these things. So you about to start questioning these things, and you might have to hurt people's feelings every now and then, or do things that a person ain't know that you was familiar with doing. I mean, ain't familiar with them for you to be doing, and stuff like that, if you're on a spiritual path or whatever the case may be. Because if you're on a true spiritual path, you're not even looking at the same type of things that you do the same type of way. Even people you're interested in and stuff like that. You might look at that like, oh, I just thought like that at school, whatever. The spiritual growth I'm going through right now, I need to be around more stuff like that and more people I kind of take me away from all this other stuff I'm doing that's I'm kind of tired of a little bit. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like that energy. People are, you're tired. It's like a tiring of your current life while being in your current life. So how does that work? You know what I'm saying? Because you can't escape your spirit and you can't escape your mind and your body as a soul, as your individual spirit. You can't escape your mind and your body unless you die. You still in that same space getting ready to emanate something similar. So at the same time, if you ain't in hell. So at the same time, you can't escape the one or the other energy or whatever the case. So it's about crafting your ability much better. That's thinking better and acting better. And then that comes with shedding dead weight. Because the spirit make the first body, and the way it move, a lot of those first forms could condensed as wavelengths and slithering things and snake-like allegories or whatever the case. So it's like slithering your way out of a circumstance or situation and get into something better, or whatever the case. And for the most part, everybody may not understand it, but those who don't understand it, they're not on no spiritual growth themselves. Right? So for the most part, there's going to be a lot of things you're tired of. Thought forms, feelings, people, places, things, especially when it comes to how to do things. It might be something that's still working, but how to get it done, you're tired of it. Like you're tired of doing something. You're tired of doing that. You're tired of doing it that way, in some way, shape, or form. And it's going to hit everybody hard. And this energy is large on a percentage scale in the streamer world. You know what I'm saying? You're going to see a lot of streamers realize they're not content creators. They're streamers, and they actually want to start presenting their content so they can start developing streaming about that. So when they don't feel like streaming, they can just upload something based upon their creativity or have some product to present, whether it's a gift, a talent, object, or however the case. And they're going to start to realize they wasting time now because they not in that bag to develop it. And once they get all dried up from streaming, they're going to start to realize they don't even really care about the money either. You know what I'm saying? The money from streaming, whatever. Their spirit is going to be forcing them to get more into a different space. So it don't matter how good of a situation you in right now, the situation itself, it might be large on a percentage scale of old and outdated energy that's going through a shift. You don't even care about the things that come with it as much. And you're going to try to find how you can carve out the things that come with it into a new shift, or just sacrifice and throw it all away and let it go with the other shift and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Or become some panethicist, whatever that word is. So that's what's going on now. So, but when it comes into teaching, like I said, it has to be more solution based. So I'm giving teachers a solution on how to teach better. And to make things simple also, being productive, create product. So let's say you a complainer. So the old shift, there may have been a little bit of money in complaining, like virtue signaling and jumping online and stuff like that. But people going to get tired of that eventually also. You're going to get tired of complaining. You're going to start realizing, like, this ain't even my problem. What am I complaining about? Because everybody have to wear the energy of what we're actually doing. So you're going to come to grips with what you're actually doing. You're going to realize, if I'm getting paid by virtual signaling, these emotions that make me frustrated, I don't even necessarily have to be in those emotions every day. So then you're going to find yourself forcing yourself to get mad. And then you're going to realize what you're actually doing. Oh, I'm just trying to motivate other people to be in this emotion I'm not really in. I'm just acting like this emotion because I could get in the algorithm, right? Like everybody about to start questioning what they're actually doing, not what they think they're doing. Because what you think you're doing is the thought, and it's part of the old outdated shit. You got to come with a more individual thought so it can all collect as teamwork makes the dream work and be all of us in sync and wave in the world we create together. And if you're outdated, you're going against a wave. You're going against the current. So the way you're going to be breaking down current events ain't going to be current in the trend of how people want to receive it through their eardrums in some way. And a person might not care what you're saying. They might just want to hear it from someone else. You know what I'm saying? Because your vibration, your energy, the thought, collection of thoughts and feelings that you got to express it through the new shift is outdated. You know what I'm saying? So it's unworthy. So for the most part, it might have worked previously, but right now you're going to start to see how it fades up, because for the most part, you're going against a current, and the waters is not going in that direction anymore, where it probably was leading you in a promised land to convince you that you actually doing the right thing, where you have your spirit is experiencing, I think I'm doing the right thing by being damaged. Emotional damage. You know what I'm saying? But when you got lost in the mind, and then the body, external world as a reflection and everything that the body created, it appeared that you was just thinking you was doing the right thing because you was getting physical stability or whatever the case. But your spirit gonna remind you, look what you had to do to get it. And what hurt more? All these thoughts and feelings compressed up under that space you was in, and that bend in to become all those actions and body languages you had to do and stuff like that to get that. And was it worth it? Compare and contrast. Was it worth it? You know what I'm saying? And then that's when you're gonna get right back into what I'm talking about. Especially if you're a celebrity with a whole bunch of stuff, you're gonna start giving a lot of stuff away. You like, I'm just being a hoarder at this point. You know what I'm saying? And because first it's gonna come with the thoughts you got, you hoarding thoughts. Then it's gonna lead into the things that those thoughts bend in and became your actions, and you materialize and manifested from it. You're gonna start looking at those things like, I don't need that no more. You know what I'm saying? I don't want that no more. Oh, that ain't my favorite color no more. Oh, that ain't, you know what I'm saying? There's about to be a whole bunch of stuff going on. So everybody, oh damn, we're an hour already. So even when it comes into relationships, right? Relationships has to be based on shared goals, or folks will have the wonder and eye on extreme levels, right? Because an indecisive person will jump into new experiences thinking the grass is greener on the other side. So when a person truly don't know what they want, they're running off a robot autopilot energy, aka one day they think they're jumping into something because a commercial between Muppet Babies on Ice and stuff like that. Then Cinderella come on and stuff and show that she was supposed to get some boot. Then the Seven Deers, the Dorse or something like that, the Lassie and stuff come on and stuff. So for the most part, right, a person will be in these energies, men and women, and then get into one situation that represent the commercials between Walt Disney and Muppet Baby on Ice and stuff like that. Then for the most part, something will come around that remind them of the Safari Channel when they was watching cable and stuff like that. Then they'd jump into that like, oh no, this right or whatever, hurt the feelings or whatever, or from the other circumstance. Then being something else would come on that was on like Carmen Sandiego, then they'd jump in this career that the Safari Channel person they met didn't match. Then before this person knew it, this person just lost all over the place. You know what I'm saying? Ain't got nothing substantiated about nothing. You know what I'm saying? So that's a person that's just all over the place with no common interest. So their common interest was the time and the moment that made up their mind from their early stages of life, us watching goddamn Wizard of Oz and on Walt Disney all the time. You know what I'm saying? The Michael Jackson version, the Billy D. Williams and them. You know what I'm saying? Whitney Houston and them. Who was all in it? For the most part. But yeah, they all lost all over the place and stuff. So you got to find somebody with a common interest, because even when the wandering eye happens, it's not on an extreme level. And saltiness won't be on an extreme level if it's followed through with also. You know what I'm saying? So that'll be better and more sufficient, because for the most part, that's the thing that's anchoring beyond when all other things that we learn from a relationship and Walt Disney fade away and we get more into spiritual shit. That common interest is still there when, you know, every now and then y'all tired of effing, or every now and then y'all need some space. The space ain't gonna go too far. The distance ain't, or emotional connection ain't gonna go too far, because that common interest, especially if it's a God gift and goal, that sustain both of y'all. And that's the thing y'all gonna protect, and be damned if any outsider, even family, threaten it. You know what I'm saying? In some way, shape, or form. And that makes people second question if they gonna get a divorce or not. That make people second question, should they just totally leave this person alone or not, just because they cheated or something like that. You need that extra energy, and hopefully it's one that God gave y'all. Now, if it's one that HAＥL'HO or some demon gave y'all or some stuff like that, or Muhammad or some goddamn, or Cashapp, straight from 10 bricks on top of the sheet out of a Hebrew Israelite trunk or something like that. Now, if they gave you that or something like that, then you on your own. You know what I'm saying? All I can tell you is, at the early stages, it felt good, but what about now? You just got out the halfway house. You know what I'm saying? So, but I love all y'all from the bottom of my heart. I love it. Hey, pay your child support. Flight bump. You know, fight for me. You know, for sure. You know, listen to the bottom of that Terry Smooth. I'm the Royal Archangel Uriel. And I'm in the care I gotta do these responsibilities. So let me go ahead and finish this up so I can start bringing y'all to Ohio too. Ohio. You know what I'm saying? So, we go through the Warriors path and stuff like that. Get some footage and things of that nature, stuff like that. We're presenting 2026 is real big though, and I'm gonna have a powwow here too. That's really what I'm showing people to orchestrate. And if I can get some help on a government level, that'd be dope. But we don't need none. I already got the area and stuff. We already got all that stuff like that. So, I'm saying it's just something to do and content and stuff like that. You know stuff. You know what I'm saying? I'm bringing people to the world. Welcome to New Worldiah. It's all a vibe. My album, me dropping New Worldiah Part 3 all the time. It's all a vibe. It's all a vibe. But I love all y'all. Rectuswa, HAЄL'HO, YAHLAHUE, Massasoit, Mama na toy. Massasoit. Oh yeah, Masasaki. That's what I'm supposed to say. Mini Hokit, Makatel.